Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're cutting through the municipal red tape to figure out exactly how to properly dispose of bulk trash in Louisville, Kentucky. Listen, if you've ever stared at a busted couch or a dead fridge sitting in your garage and thought, how on earth do I actually get rid of this without breaking the rules? Well, you are definitely in the right place.
But before we get into the how-to, we've got to ask a pretty serious question about an issue that's really hurting our city. What costs $25,000 and can absolutely ruin a neighborhood?
Yep, $25,000. Under Kentucky state law, that is the maximum daily civil penalty for severe environmental violations, like illegal dumping. It's a massive, massive price to pay just for not knowing the rules, or, choosing to ignore them.
So to make sure you steer clear of those crazy fines, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the illegal dumping problem, figure out what actually qualifies as bulk trash, walk through a step-by-step scheduling guide, handle the hazardous stuff, look at some private haulers, and wrap up with a clean community action plan.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the illegal dumping problem.
The city is definitely not messing around here. The Solid Waste Enforcement Team, known as SWET, is actively cracking down. They've actually got a network of over 80 high-definition cameras monitoring chronic dumping areas, especially over in West and South Louisville neighborhoods like Portland and Shawnee. And they aren't just mailing out polite warnings. They are actively issuing strict citations and literally impounding the vehicles used for illegal dumping. So getting this right isn't just a matter of convenience. It is absolutely crucial for staying out of serious legal trouble.
Moving on to Section 2, what qualifies as bulk?
Okay, so the most important thing to know is that Louisville has a bifurcated system. Basically, the rules for your trash depend entirely on your zip code. If you live inside the Urban Services District, you'll use Metro Public Works, which lets you put out up to 4 large items per scheduled appointment. But if you're outside that district, in an unincorporated area or a home rule city, you'll be relying on private haulers like Waste Management, Rumpke, or Ecotech. And for those, you have to follow whatever specific custom contract you have with them.
Now, generally speaking, whether it's the city or a private crew picking it up, acceptable items usually include large furniture, stuff like couches, dining tables, and beds. You can also toss rolled carpet, but you've got to make sure it's cut down to under 4 feet and weighs less than 75 pounds. Most household appliances like washers and dryers are fine too, as long as they don't contain any Freon.
But here's the catch. You can't just drag it out there. Preparation is everything. Honestly, if you ever see a pile of junk just sitting untouched at the curb for weeks, it's usually because somebody skipped these steps. For example, if you live in Jeffersontown and use Rumpke, your mattress has to be totally wrapped in plastic and sealed up tight. But if you're in the Metro District, they want that mattress left completely intact. Push lawnmowers are perfectly fine, provided you've completely drained all the gas and oil. Getting rid of a bathtub, it can't be cast iron, it has to weigh under 75 pounds, and it has to be shorter than 8 feet. Oh, and a pro tip. Always empty your furniture drawers and tape them shut so they don't go flying open when the crew tries to load them.
Now on the flip side, there are things you absolutely under no circumstances can leave at the curb.
This is a hard no list. You cannot throw out electronic waste like old TVs or computer monitors. No construction debris either, so no drywall, roofing shingles, or bricks. Hazardous waste like liquid paint and motor oil are completely banned, along with heavy inert materials like concrete chunks or landscaping rocks. And remember what I said about Freon? Any appliance containing it, like an old fridge or AC unit, is a no-go. These items require specialized disposal. Why? Because dropping heavy construction debris into a standard sanitation truck will destroy the compactor, and crushing an old fridge can rupture the coolant lines, dumping toxic chemicals straight into the neighborhood.
All right, let's hit Section 3, our step-by-step scheduling guide.
If you're one of the folks living inside the Urban Services District, the city has a very specific, structured workflow to keep the streets clear.
It's really just 3 steps. First, check. Make sure the item is actually eligible for pickup and maybe see if it can be donated first. Second, schedule. You've got to request an appointment using the Metro 311 app, their website, or by calling 574-5000. Be sure to give them a really detailed description of what you're tossing. And third, and this is where people mess up the most, set out. You have to wait for your confirmation email from the city, and only then do you set your items out at the curb by 6 a.m. on that exact day. Seriously, hauling it out to the curb days in advance is considered a code violation.
Section 4. Handling hazardous and prohibited items.
So what do you do with the stuff from the banned list? Luckily, Louisville actually has self-service drop-off hubs for this exact situation. If you've got electronics, tires, or appliances with Freon, take them down to the Waste Reduction Center at 636 Meriwether Avenue. Residents can drop off up to 4 large items, 4 tires, and 3 electronics per day completely free of charge. Now, for the really hazardous stuff, we're talking old batteries, paint, chemicals, motor oil, you'll want to head over to Has-Been at 7501 Grade Lane. Both of these are free for Jefferson County residents and are absolutely vital for keeping toxic junk out of our water supply.
Okay, Section 5, Private Haulers and Alternatives.
Sometimes you just can't wait weeks for a city pickup, right? When you're looking at alternatives, it's really all about balancing your budget against your timeline and how much you want to sweat. The Metro 311 service is free, but again, it can take weeks and caps at 4 items. If you're in a hurry, the Waste Reduction Center gets it done same day and is also free, but you're playing mover. You have to load it and drive it yourself. For zero hassle, companies like Drop Curb will grab your stuff from the curb the same day starting at $79 with no item limits. Or, if you're doing a massive home renovation, renting a dumpster will run you somewhere between $250 and $500, but be prepared to do all the heavy lifting yourself.
Finally, we've made it to Section 6, the Clean Community Action Plan.
Properly managing our bulk waste does so much more than just clear up driveway space. It prevents neighborhood blight, boosts our local recycling, and keeps Louisville looking great. You can pitch in by taking usable furniture to places like Habitat Restore or Goodwill instead of the dump. Make sure you're following the right recycling protocols for things like glass and yard waste. If you spot illegal dumping, you can actually report it completely anonymously right on the Metro 311 app. Oh, and this is huge. Please avoid those unlicensed guy-with-a-truck haulers you see offering deals that seem too good to be true. They frequently dodge facility fees by just dumping your trash in a vacant lot. And guess what? If your name is on any of that trash, you can actually be held legally responsible for the cleanup costs.
Quick disclaimer before we finish up today. City rules and vendor pricing shift all the time. The municipal guidelines, the private fees, even the lists of accepted items can change depending on the season. So always double-check with Metro 311 or your local sanitation provider before you drag that heavy sleeper sofa out to the curb.
So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you're staring down an old couch or a broken fridge, are you going to see a massive $25,000 liability, or are you going to see an opportunity to do it right and keep our city thriving? You've got all the resources right at your fingertips now. Share this info with your neighbors, schedule that pickup, and let's keep Louisville beautiful. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.